lot, because it's easy for people to have passion around these medicines, but how to know when you're not prepared to lead others. You know what I mean? How to know where you are in your journey, because this is important, because people can feel like, I've seen it all. Like, I understand the mysteries of the universe and I need to show others. And the psychedelic space can kind of almost encourage that too. It can kind of say, this is healing. Yes, this will help people. You should do it. But, where is that fine line between when you're ready to do that and when it's premature?
Yeah. It's a really challenging thing because everybody's journey is so different. So this is the question, right? Is like, how do we standardize our service or our standards of facilitation? So something I'm really interested in as somebody that does have a systems mind, is like, how do we create systems of whether it's, accreditation or what have you. But basically, one major thing about it that I just want to say right off the bat is that if it's something that you're pursuing or that you are seeking out and pushing to happen, that is not the way. That is not the way. That is not how these medicines work. It should fall into your lap in a way that is even bewildering.
Totally.
So that right there is a huge part of it, because it's like this whole thing of like, well, I know what's best, and I'm going to tell them how to do it. I'm going to do it, rather than like, oh, universe, you're showing me steps toward this. I'm going to acknowledge those steps and that I have some time to get there and that you're going to guide the way. And when I'm ready, you're going to show me the way. It's not like, oh, I need to make money, so I'm going to, serve people DMT, and they're not even psychically attuned to what they're doing, as an
100%.
example. Or
100%.
Or I have people in my extended network, let me say, that like they've been on their awakening journey for a year and a half or less. I've only maybe known them for 8 months, and think they're ready to serve ayahuasca.
Right.
And I'm like, and they serve it to unwitting people. And I'm just like, who the fuck would do that? Like, clearly people that are not supposed to be serving it,
Right. That is one of the harsh, realities, that these things have been affected by the drug war and the demonization, by the church and these types of things, and not your church, but I mean the Catholic Church, because they drive them underground to the point that there is no accreditation, there is no certificate, there is no school. So people just think, oh, this is willy-nilly, the wild, wild west, and anyone can do this. And, I think that it is, slightly naivete that happens, but also the fact that there are no structures in place. And it is important that people are building those structures. And that seems like what you're doing, and a mission that you have as well. And it is very important, and I would say, it should really fall into your lap and be a synchronistic sequence of events that you cannot ignore, that literally says, this is what you're meant to do. This is what you're supposed to be doing. We're going to show you until you understand this is your path, not this side hustle you have, Yeah,
like, oh, I don't even want to go into the whole capitalistic intersection with like where people are like, well, I need to make money, so I'm going to serve psilocybin in a ceremony. And it's like, the thing about it is like, what people don't understand is like, this is not just a substance. You're not just opening people's, you are opening psychic channels to worlds that if you do not understand what you're doing, you can harm people when you think you're helping them. And this is the most critical thing, is like, I'm like thinking about this time I was having a gathering, and this guy decides to serve DMT in my office at this gathering. So there's like 100 people at my house, and he decides to invite like 5 to 10 people into my office right next to my bedroom, by the way. And he only gets one person's consent and doesn't ask. So why I'm bringing this up is because so we had opened a cacao circle where we, open a sacred space and call in the guides and set protections for the cacao that we're serving at the party. So like there's, 80 to 100 people in this circle, and you're calling in their psychic elements, you're calling in their soul parts, you're calling in their guides. We're creating a container where we're all on the same psychic plane, if you will.
Right.
And he decides to serve DMT with all of those people present without their consent. So he's essentially opened a portal. Within the portal I had already created that was grounded, consented with, by, and all these things. And he opens a portal to who the fuck knows where without even so what happens is if something comes through that he's unaware of, he is subjecting every single person at that gathering psychically to the channel he's opening.
Right.
And he doesn't have even permission from everybody or the main leader of the space. So it's just stuff like that it's like you don't understand the psychic implications of what you're doing. And do you even have permission from the land spirits? Did you even talk to the land spirits? Did you, are you even connected to what you're doing psychically whatsoever? And that's what I mean by the initiation process and having that true initiation, because it's there's just this element of the unseen worlds that you're affecting. And I feel like so few people care or are even aware of that. And then let alone asking true permission. I would never open a psychedelic portal without making an offering to the land in recognition of what I'm doing and asking for permission. There's a lot of implications, and I feel like I'm on a soapbox about it now, but I do feel there's a lack of, a lack of self-awareness around it, majorly. They think they're ready and you're just not ready.
Right. It makes so much sense what you're saying. And I feel like this is the way that these medicines have been revered and used for thousands of years.